Ready?
Live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gossip Talk Show, where our coaches can help you get more from your life, create concrete steps to help you get there. My name is Nomsa Clara Mnube. I am the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Gossip Talk Show. I have my experts today with me. I'm going to let our experts introduce themselves. Also, they can lay out their professional credentials, expertise. Um, Over to you, Tamia Dow. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Tamia Dow here, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, in the USA. And for me, it is good morning. For you, it is good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. I am very excited to be here. I am a coach. I am an ordained minister, and I am a filmmaker, and I help people tell their stories in many aspects and ways.
Thank you so much, Tamia. Over to you, Judy. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Judy Matejchak from Austin, Texas, in the USA. Yes, and I'm a life mastery consultant and I world-class paradigm shifter. How's that?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judy and Tamia. So today our topic is how to be how to do the impossible.
Oh, that's easy.
Yes. So Tamia, I'm gonna come to you. What is the impossible? Somebody can say,
I
okay, you say what to do, how to do the impossible. I have no idea what the impossible is. So what is the impossible?
Well, I'm going to tell you the most powerful scripture in the world, because I did tell you I was an ordained minister. And I can let you know this, that with God, all things are possible. You can find that in Matthew 19:26. With God, all things are possible. So, what is the impossible? It is the limitations that we often put on ourselves. I hear people say this all the time. Well, that's impossible. Well, I break down impossible, and you have the letter I and you have the letter M, possible. I am possible. So it's impossible. What is that? Somebody telling you that you can't do something when you know that you can. I've been so blessed that throughout my life, I've always been inspired by God to do things that are not traditionally what a woman is supposed to do. I mean, I went from being a army officer, so I was a soldier, to being a police officer, which a law enforcement officer, which are not traditional women's professions. And people would say to me, why would you want to do that? They're not even, I don't want to give my age away, but at the time that I was in, especially in policing, there weren't many women doing it. So in people's mind, it's like, it is not possible for you to do that. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm going to do it. I set my mind to it. So what is impossible when somebody tries to tell you, because impossibilities come from your own mind limitation and other people telling you and you believing them, but you have to believe yourself. So if you are inspired to do something and you believe that something is possible, if somebody else has done it, it's possible. But even if somebody else hasn't done it, it's still possible, because God wouldn't have given you the inclination to do it if in fact it couldn't be done. Think about Noah, right? That was this when I was talking to impossibilities. That is probably the hugest, most impossible impossibility that we have read about in the Bible. That this man begins to make a boat, anticipating what he believes is going to be this giant flood. And there's no hint whatsoever that any flood is coming. So he had to be a person of faith to believe that he could do what God told him to do, and then to continue to do it. Even when people were laughing and mocking him and saying he couldn't do it, he still did it. Was he discouraged along the way? Yes. If you guys remember, and you read the story again, he was discouraged big time by the people around him. They told him he was crazy. They told him that, why are you trying to do this? So think about the thing in your mind that people are telling you are impossible. And think about having the courage of Noah. Because in the end, what happened? It rained. and it rained, and people were at the doorstep of the ark trying to get on, and he was like, you know what? Told you so. We don't want to be, like that. Told you so. But it was just that he was faithful and he believed what God told him, which that he could do it. He could be this master shipbuilder and save the world, literally, of the people who got on it. And he did it. So when an impossibility comes to your mind, I encourage you to remember Noah and think, I can do it. God has put it in my mind. It is not impossible, because nothing is impossible with God.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tamia. I like it when you use the scripture, because everything is possible. That is my favorite word. And I love this word when people say, I can't, and I say, I can. Everything with God is possible. I cannot rely, like what you were saying, that there is a higher power out there, that whatever you want to do in life, he will make it possible for you if you want to do it. And of course, there's fear that can interfere. But if you say, okay, I'm going to stand up to you, fear, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do the things that I want to do, because I believe in God. I believe whatever people's beliefs, people have different beliefs. And for me, I believe in God. And I basically, I use these words that with him, everything is possible. I can be who I want to be, and nothing can stop me. Not even his opposer. Nothing can stop me. I can stop myself. So thank you so much for basically showing our audience that they can be who they want to be. Over to you, Judy. What is impossible to you in your own opinion?
What is impossible to me or possible?
Yes.
Well, that's a good question. Well, one of the things that I've seen over my course of my work before I was a coach, I also, I guess we're always coaches, but I spent my career in the public school systems of Texas with special ed children, with kids who weren't supposed to walk, weren't supposed to succeed. And they had gone down the rug because someone did not believe in them, because they were this, or they were blind, they were deaf, they were dyslexic, they were all the labels. And they would end up in my class, which is the best thing in the world, right? But they did not think so. And neither did their parents. Because it takes in this human world, I feel, if you look at the children where we want them to have all things possible, we would, and then we put our fear on them or whatever. I've seen that over and over. And then it takes one person, God in skin is what I like to say, to go and say, yes, you can. And no, they can't. Yes, you can. No, and you know what? You cannot make them see the possible until they really want it, with that burning, burning desire. So over the course of time, where you can see beyond the limitations, I've seen that in my own life, where I was so totally afraid and fear that that I did not want to see my mother in the last years of her life, because I did not want to see her getting old. I did not want to see her dementia. And my brother said, come up for her birthday. And I did not want to. I had all the excuses why it was impossible. I had work, I had kids, I had all of these things. And my brother said, come or you won't see her anymore. So I found myself in a parking lot in Akron, Ohio, staring through this windshield at this building that said assisted living. And I did not want to go in. And I took that deep breath in that I teach my clients. And I got out of the car. God led me in there and I saw her. and our eyes clicked. And it was right there that it really was possible to make that connection and to be okay with whatever's in front of me. Well, my brother came up behind her and he went over to the coffee machine and he took a coffee filter out and he put it on top of her head and he started to sing happy birthday. And the whole place started laughing and singing happy birthday. And we started to laugh. And it was that laughter and that joy that broke through the impossibility. So that was one of the stories, and some of the tools that I teach my client, I actually started to use myself, because I sometimes can see it in others until I have to really live it myself before I can actually teach it to others. So that's the sun is coming up in Texas. It's possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judy. I think everything, you can be who you want to be. It's just we choose not to actually take action, or we choose to not to do anything and we make excuses. But we can have the relationship that we want with our families. We can have, even if they are crazy, we can forgive them. But it's just the only problem is you can't. If somebody's crazy, you have to love them from the distance, because you end up going crazy too. So that is where the problem is. So yeah, everything is with God. Basically, He can make anything happen for you. It's up to you whether are you really serious, because He say ask, it shall be given to you. Seek. If you seek and you ask and you start saying this is too much, this is too big, then but we can be who we want to be. What's the cost of the impossible, Tobia?
What's the cost of impossible? Success. So what's the cost of impossible? Success. A lot of times we don't do the things we need to do because of fear. And God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So to talk about the sound mind, there is a cost. There is a cost to good mental health. There is a cost to positively having a positively life, for having a good attitude about those things that God has presented to you. Because let me go back to this motivation, if you get it, right? So our lives, the lives that we're living right now, the fact that we woke up this morning and are into the afternoon, some people, and getting into the evening for others, it's a total gift from God. And with this gift, we are to turn around and to do His will and bidding, to be His hands and feet in this world, and to show people God's love. We are His angels in flesh, right? God will put into us, He'll download into us these things and request that we do it. And here's the cost: doing it. Actually doing what the Lord is telling you to do. Actually going out, because He's not going to give you tasks that are easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. He's giving you the tasks that people are praying for. He's giving you like that kind word. I was looking at a Starbucks sign yesterday, and you guys don't have Starbucks in the UK. You have, what is it, Cosa, and some other places like that. But the cool thing is a lot of times they put these motivational signs in front of the business. And I love that, because when people are in line or standing outside or drinking their coffee, they can look at it and it'll say, remember yesterday. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember exactly what it said, but the gist of it was that you never know what somebody else is going through. So be kind is what it said, right? And I totally agree with that. If you watch me enough on this show, you know that is one of my strong directions, is to be kind, right? To make sure that you smile or you say a kind word, even if it's coming out of your mouth where you want to say something negative, because we talked about this, right? Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. So someone might be in front of you and just, you just like, this is what I should be doing right now. And instead, you take a deep breath. I think Judy mentioned something about this. I call it the pause, right? And then respond. Because what you do is you take a moment and you say, Lord, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? Because my flesh, my humanity wants to punch this person in the face. But I know that's not your response. I know that's not your choice of my response, Lord. So let me take a deep breath. Let me get direction from you. What is it that I'm supposed to do? And you can really throw people off and diffuse situations by the next thing you do, right? So that's the cost. Let's say the difference between being hauled away to go to jail because you punched somebody in the face or saying a kind word that might change somebody's life. Now, there's also a higher cost, okay? So when you say that you want something, let's say that we're talking about impossibilities here. So let's say that you're the first person in your family to ever pursue higher education, education past primary school, or, you know, the basic education that is given to all of us, right? No one else in your family has done it for whatever reason. Now I'm saying reason as opposed to excuse, because a lot of times we take those reasons, hold on to them really tight as to why we don't do something, and we tell ourselves it's impossible. No one else in my family's ever gone on to get a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. You know, even though I thought about it for a minute, I have to be realistic because no one else has done it and it's nearly impossible, right? People keep telling me it's impossible. Yet how many PhDs do I know right now that took the cost? They counted the cost, they took the cost, they accepted that challenge, and they became who they believe they should be. So it's all about what you believe. Do you believe that you can reach that so-called impossible? You know, for me, soldier. As a female, I saw nothing even remotely wrong with wanting to be a soldier. Police officer, as a female, I saw nothing remotely, but it was something I wanted to do. As a detective investigator, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't see it as a gender thing. I just saw it as that's what God put in my DNA and that's what I'm going to do. You know, so all of you people giving me the negativity, you can step aside, you know, unless you're on my party train that wants to go forward with me, move aside, because God has great things for us. And part of the cost also can be to say goodbye to those who are not on your team. Because trust me, the same kids that you went through elementary school, primary school, you know, secondary school are not the people that may see you through to the end. Each leg of your journey, you'll need people, different people along the way that are walking that path with you because they're on the same track. Do you understand? Those people who are wanting to hold you back, discard them, leave them aside, wish them well, but move on towards your higher calling. The cost for a higher calling is making some decisions that have to do with the strength of who you are and who God has called you to be. And you cannot be an ego and stay down here clucking at the ground like chickens. So are you an eagle or are you a chicken? I want you to think about it and count the cost of going one way or the other, because there's a cost on both sides. No, getting nowhere as a chicken, staying status quo as a chicken, which is really disappointing to the Lord when you stay there, because if he has put it in your heart to be an eagle, he wants you to fly. There's things you need to see above and you got to get up there. But if you stay dealing with the little bitty things down here, which some people do, they can't see themselves as an ego. And if you can't see yourself as an ego, if you can't see yourself as a PhD, if you can't see yourself as a lead detective, you know, if you can't see yourself there, there's nobody else that can get you there. It is up to you. I am possible. It is possible once you decide in your mind and by your actions to do it. So my point is, live as if until you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare yourself as if until you get there. So if your next level is a person who is posh, as you guys call it, well-spoken, if your next level has descriptors to it, you need to start walking those descriptors so you can get to your next level. That's the cost.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tamia. I need to ask you, you were a soldier before, police or soldier?
I was a soldier first and then police.
Are you kidding me? You are completely bonkers.
I just saw something I wanted and I went for it.
Oh my goodness, Tamia. I thought you were in the police force only, so you were a soldier first.
Yes, I was a U.S. Army officer, and I actually was a military police officer. So I got my first police training in the Army, and then I came out and did civilian police training with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Steven says, hello ladies, you look Christmassy, more Christmassy today. He loves your talk.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That is really amazing, Tamia. I didn't realize, honestly, that is really, really amazing. You are so brave.
Well, let me tell you something else that, thank you. Let me tell you something else that adds to it. So now what I do now. So I always look, and you talk about impossibilities. So I am now a film director. So I actually am a producer, director, and writer. As a female, there's not a lot of us, right? That go on to be, I'm an award-winning writer, award-winning director, award-winning filmmaker. And again, that was another one of those choices that I made in life. And I said, people were like, it's impossible. LA will never let you in. All this negative stuff, no one's gonna this, da, 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 da. And I was like, you know what? Come on. I've already been a soldier. I've been a police officer. You try to tell me I can't be a filmmaker? I'm like, whatever, right? So I believe success builds on success. And you know that from me, right? Because that's why I even wrote my book called In Celebration of You, because it talks about your life successes and how your previous successes help you go forward and build on your successes, right? So that book helps us when we're in that time where, let's say somebody's sitting there telling us it's impossible, it's impossible, it's impossible. We pull our book with our notes in there and it says, wait a minute, I was a soldier. Wait a minute, I was a police officer. Wait a minute. So when you see those wait a minute moments in there, you're like, I don't know what that person is talking about, but I can and I will, because I did, right?
That is amazing. That is amazing, Tamia. I love your attitude. I really, really love your attitude. And I'm so glad that you came to Ngozi Talk Show, because I know that I'm gonna learn from you. And that is a good attitude, which is, that is my attitude as well. So I love people like that, people who believe that they can be anything. I refuse when people say I can't. When they tell me, no, you can't, I refuse those words. That is the words that I actually refuse. I do things that people say you can't do them. I want to do them. Those things that even when I meet people, the people that people look them down, they say, why would you talk to that person? Those people that are being looked down is the people that I want to talk to them. I want to get to know them. And I know there are some people that I've met in my life, and people coming to me saying, why do you speak to this person? And I greet them, I make friends with them, but then we go separate ways. And I find them, they reappear in my life. But when they reappear to help me. So can you imagine if I had actually ignored them from the beginning, because I don't know why they've been put in that path. So there are some people that are being put in your path to actually make the impossible possible. But then if you are that person that look people down, you can't, you wouldn't know. Like you made a story of a sheep, like the sheep and the plane coming in, and the guy keeps saying, I'm waiting for God to rescue me. And
Oh, right, right.
then yes, and then he drowned. So that is the similar story that basically I just talk to everyone. When I see somebody, when I see the crowd, as I see that person individual, they're standing by themselves, I'm curious. I want to go and see, why are they standing by themselves? I just go and talk to them. And I find that those who are standing by themselves, they're actually the clever ones. They are observing what is going on. They're being curious and nosy. So that's what life is about. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What is your opinion, Judy? How do you turn impossible into possible?
How do we or I take possible from impossible?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about that um, that I am so impressed by both of you, and in where I live in Austin, Texas, there is a right now, 2020, December 21st, there is an impossible situation in the world. With the COVID, the virus, people are fighting, wearing masks. There's fighting going on. There's that tension going on. And so the challenge is to be the one who sees beyond what's going on, the condition. And for me, it's, how do I do it? I stay connected not only with my God, but with other people who are seeing beyond. And what are the possibilities? What are the possibilities here? In one of my coaching groups, I have a woman, and some of my clients are older, let's just say. They are the people, I'm almost 70, by the way. You guys are young chickens. I love the chickens. But, I went back for my 50th class reunion last summer. And I had built up in my mind why I had to leave all those people behind when I was 18, 19. And I knew I needed to get out of there. It was a small town in Pennsylvania, and I wanted to be in the city. I knew that that's where I needed to be, the next step. And I've moved multiple times and lived all over this country. And I decided to go back for my 50th reunion to see if I made up all of those excuses in my head. Because first, there was something in there that was telling me that I am better than, and that is not a good place for me to be. So anyway, I went back, and I was so afraid, it's that fear, to see these people, to see that I was fat, to see that I had gray hair now, to see that life had thrown me some punches, to see that I'm in I also am in recovery for 24 years. And that has seen a lot of impossible people become very possible, in some of the leaders in our communities, because you accept the challenge, get deep inside, and move forward. Anyway, I not only went back, but I all those people look just like me, And when I got sitting down and like, what has gone on in your life the last 50 years? They had done some pretty impossible things. So for me, it's removing those blocks that I have, removing the blocks that I am better than. And one of my clients, who's 75 right now, her husband died. Most of the clients I have right now have had someone who's died in the last 2 months. Their parents, their kids, whatever. So to see them go through that process. They're still breathing. Let them breathe and grieve. And her husband died 3 years ago, and she has cancer. And to see for her, say, if you are breathing, there is still life in you. There is still possibility for you.
Yes.
Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Well, and then her tools are her tools. But what she came up with last week, everyone here is behind a mask right now, right? We all are, all over. And she came up with a tool that she was going to smile with her eyes at every person that she meets. And so she's got the most beautiful 75-year-old smiling eyes. And then she comes to the group and she tells about all of the people that she smiled into possibility, not with her face, not with her gray hair, but with her eyes. Because what she was telling me, I'm learning so much from these people. She's telling me that the eyes connection is a heart connection. And we used to, way before all this, we used to get together and hug, heart to heart. Looks like you're a big, good hugger, Trio. I can tell that. And we would put our hearts on each other's hearts and give that hug, feeling each other's hearts. And that's when we knew that we were living. We were living and breathing and changing and uplifting the world, heart to heart. So we can't do heart to heart anymore, right? So we've come up with creative ideas of how we can get that heart to heart connection and seeing the spirit in you, because it's touching the spirit in me and wanting me to keep going out there day after day after day. I'm retired. I could have put my whole life, I retired in 2014, and I'm going stronger now than I ever did. There was a time when I had to leave the school system and those children and all of that. And my mentor and my coach, my spiritual coach, said, how many children did you touch in 1 year? And I would say, well, maybe 30, 35. She goes, what if your next step is to start touching 3,500? And I said, oh no, not me. I'm not good enough. That was like 6 years ago. And every time I go out, my little voices say, who are you? You're just this crazy old lady in Austin, Texas. And it's like every time I have to get up, get the crinks out of my body, go out. And also, I'm in Texas, right? And then all of these things came down in the last month, 6 months. And it's like, no, go into meditation, go into prayer, and go out and just one little baby step a day. That's all it takes. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, but that's what I was thinking about. And I just want to say too, I feel very blessed to have the courage sometime to go out and meet other people. And for me, it's meet other people of color. And on my thing is like, I'm learning so much because there was a fear there that kept me blocked for a long time. And I want to appreciate both of you just for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judy. And you are blessed to have a beautiful heart and a beautiful mind, and having that courage to be able to do the things that you do, because not everyone can do what you guys are doing, the coaches, what they are doing. It takes courage to actually do the things that we do. And it takes everything, the commitment, the everything when you commit to something, and basically to be able to be who you want to be and just get to know people, it takes everything. And some people worry about what people will think, and they worry about families, they worry about, guess what? Sometimes people don't take notice of what you do. You can worry and spend time worrying and not following your dreams and not doing the things that you want. And that's why, what's his name? Is it Steve Harvey? Les Brown, he says symmetry is the wealthiest place in the world, because some dreams were never, people never did anything with their dreams.
That's Les Brown. He does the
Les
cemetery.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says symmetry is the wealthiest place in the world. He says some people might tell you it's a gold mine, but it's not. It's the graveyard
Yes.
where the dreams never were never came
Fulfilled.
But,
right.
yeah, but they are wealthiest people who have meant to be billionaires, the people who meant to be millionaires, they never did anything. So I agree with him. Honestly, I have seen people that they create something out of nothing. So I agree with him that the graveyard is the wealthiest place in the world.
You know what's funny? I did not understand that until I became an elder myself, when both of my parents were no longer there.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh, then what? What's next? So I'm sorry. I totally hear where you are. Thank you so much.
Well, I like what you shared also, because the whole point of what Les Brown shared was that you cannot do a project when you're dead. So you can get inspired with all of these insights and ideas, and the Lord is just like downloading into you. But you limit yourself. You put the pause button on. You hold on to. You may not even like jot down the notes. At least somebody could like find the notes when they come to your house to start doing your estate or something. People don't even do that. And the Lord does. I tell you what, He downloads information to all of us all day long. But here's what happens. If you don't act on the notes He's downloaded on you, He's going to download it to somebody else, and they're going to get His mission done. And then you're going to turn around, and trust me, I want you guys to think about it, because I've had it happen to me too. And I try to be very obedient, but I'll make some excuses as to why, here we go with excuses, right? Some reasons, some excuses as to why, it can't possibly be done by me. And you don't know what you're talking about, Lord, and all this kind of stuff we have going on in our head, right? And then we turn around and see somebody do exactly what He downloaded into us to do. So He was trying to bless us, offer us an opportunity to have, some amazing blessing for the world, but we chose not to do it. And He's like, well, I'm going to get it done. So bless somebody else with it. And then we're like kicking ourselves. We're like, why didn't I act on that? So we have to learn to trust our instincts. We have to learn to believe that we can. And if the Lord downloads it to you, He's not going to bring it to you if He's not going to bring you through it, right? So He just needs you to start walking. It's kind of like you have to envision the path in front of you. And you're like, you know what? I don't see far ahead. I don't see the next rung on this ladder, but I know that the Lord told me to climb, or I know that the Lord told me to walk forward. So I'm going to walk forward, believing that He's going to light the path each step I take, so that I can be successful in this. So right now, I really want people who are listening in, who are watching us, to pause and think about, what is it that God has said to you that you did not do? And then I encourage you to pray and ask Him to either open that door of opportunity for you again, or to bring something else into your mind, into your path, so that you can be a blessing unto others. And you must be faithful. Don't just say you want it and then throw it away again. God wants us all to be successful. He's got a plan for our life, and it's a future, and it's positive, and it's about success, right? But we have to be His instrument. We have to be willing to do, not just to hear, but also to do the word of God, to do his work, to do those things that he has put into our heart. So that's what I'm sending out to you guys. I love that we started talking about the cemetery. It's weird to say that, but but like she said, it's the most wealthy, full of ideas and plans, cure to cancer, cure to AIDS, cure to everything is buried in the cemetery and cannot be recaptured. So please, please, please be faithful in following through with what the Lord is putting in your heart. He put it in your heart for a reason. He gave it to you first. So please ask him if he can revive it or reignite it, and then move forward. And if you need any direction, you have a whole house full of coaches here that can help you along the way. And I'd be happy, Judy, be happy, Nomsad, be happy to help you get to that next level.
What does it take to do the impossible, Tamia?
Well, it takes what I just said. See, I love it when the spirit is flowing. It's like already anticipating what the next question is going to be, But to do the impossible, we must be willing to be a vessel. We must be willing to do it. D-O, do, right? I believe action is so important. We get ideas all the time, like I just explained, and then we don't act on them. Action is important. The universe rewards action. That is moving. You pick up, like, even think about static, right? If you're not moving, you don't get static. Nothing attracts to you. Nothing sticks on you, right? You think about some polyester, right? It gets things stuck to it because it's moving. But if you're just sitting still, nothing's going to attract or stick to you or stay with you, and we want things to not necessarily stay with us to weigh us down, but come to us like abundance and blessings and love and all those kind of things that we want in our lives. But if we're sitting on the couch, how are we going to make that happen? I mean, I know some people are doing some online, dating and that kind of stuff. Yet you still have to get up. You got to make a phone call necessary to contact that person or text that person or get up and go out and meet them. You have to do action in order to get that blessing of possibly a new friend, or a partner for life, these things. But let me run you through an acrostic that I was coming up with while we were sitting here talking about the word impossible. But of course, I removed the I am. But I will tell you the first I am words, right? So write down impossible and kind of separate I am from possible, right? So when we talk about I am, these are the positive words to put with impossible, right? So I stands for inspire. It is your mission in life to inspire others. Don't get mad at me and say, no, it's not, because people are always watching you. So you should be doing things that would cause someone to be inspired. For example, getting up in the morning and grabbing your coffee and saying your devotions and meditating and doing a little exercise to get you in your best form for the day. And then when you go out and make contact with people, you want to be friendly, you want to smile, you want to be kind. And let me tell you, it is a choice. It really is. Because some people will say, well, what if I don't feel friendly? And what if I don't want to be kind? That's right. It's your choice. Okay. So I say choose kindness. I say choose to inspire. Choose. You never know how far that one smile will go. You never know. I like the story that Nomsa shared about the person standing on the wall, right? He's standing on the wall watching everybody else, right? And he may turn out, or she may turn out to be your best connection and resource eventually. You never know. Or even that moment, because maybe they caught something that you didn't catch. And that happens to me all the time because I'm super friendly when I travel. We talked about this, I come to London and I'm like, hi, I'm talking.
Is she frozen?
Loud, they're like, oh my goodness, not the American. Here's, but that's, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Tamia.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw I froze. So I'm like, okay, let's pray for a good internet connection to continue because we got some good points coming up. All right. So I was talking about inspire. You want to inspire. Give me another feedback because you look frozen again. Are you still hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize, everyone. It's just I see my camera's frozen, so I want to make sure you hear all this. So the first is inspire, okay? So yes, crazy American, going around, speaking to people. That's what I do the whole time. I mean, I do that in the US and I do it when I travel. So London, on trains, on buses, all this kind of stuff. I'm smiling, I'm talking to people. They're all looking at me like, we are just trying to get to work. Why are you bothering us? You know, that kind of thing. Yet they'll remember that crazy American woman this morning on the bus and talking loud and laughing with the person she was talking with and all that kind of stuff. You change your environment. You want to inspire and change your environment wherever you go. So the M is motivate. Now, part of that motivation, we can stay with the story of being on the train or being on, being on the bus. You know, people look at you, they watch what you're doing, and wow, that American woman, she was just like so full of energy, and she was so happy, and she was so, like I said, it's a choice, right? So you choose to be inspirational, you choose to be motivational just by your love and your action and your light, right? So don't diminish your light, shine your light. So that's I and M. You got inspire, motivate. The next one is to have a positive attitude. Now, do you think I ever have a negative attitude?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I do. Come on, I do, right? But I have to make the choice, right? We talked about wanting to hit the person, wanting to strangle the person, I mean, it's all about choosing the positive attitude as opposed to the negative attitude. So P, impossible, is be positive. You have to believe that you can make a difference and you can achieve those things that you say you want to accomplish. Because I'm a person who my Uncle Tommy used to say to me, he was like, don't tell me what you're gonna do, because he was country. He would say, don't tell me what you're gonna do. Tell me what you done did, right? So what he meant was, don't keep talking about the things you're gonna do. Talk about what you've accomplished, right? And that's why I back to my book again. That's why I absolutely love this book, because it reminds you of the things you have done, that you have accomplished, so that you know you can go forward and be successful, right? So I love that from my uncle. He's of course passed, but I hear it in my head. So people will say to me, I never knew you were doing that. I said, that's okay. It's done though, right? I made 12 movies, you guys, 12 movies in this impossible task of being a director, a female director. So I tell you what I've done and not what I'm going to do. Although I have a whole bunch the Lord has downloaded into me for the future. And so stay tuned. The other thing is the O, impossible, is being optimistic. I mean, I don't think I have to dwell too long on that, right? It's a choice to be optimistic. See the good and not the bad. Look for the good and not the bad. Because even in a bad situation, for example, here in the US, we drive cars more so than you guys do in the UK, and different parts of the UK. And so let's say you're driving and you get into a, let's say worst case scenario, an accident. Best case scenario, maybe your tire blew out, right? But for me, when that happens, I always pray and I say, Lord, what am I to get out of this, right? I could be on the side of the road grumbling and saying bad words and mad at the cars going by because they won't stop. All this, I mean, there's all kind of drama I could be going through. But instead, what I say is Lord, tell me what I'm to get out of this. Tell me who I'm to meet along the way. Because I often say, especially being prior law enforcement, I say, am I going to need to speak into the life of the tow truck driver? Am I going to need to speak into the life of the Good Samaritan that pulls over to help me? Am I going to need to speak into the life of the officer, the state trooper that pulls over to help me? Somebody there you have destined to meet by accident, right? So we have to think about that in our life. Is something that happens to us actually really an accident, or is it a divine appointment orchestrated by God? And we need to make sure that we are blessing to the people that come along the way. With the accident scenario, you run into somebody. Do you get out the car and start cussing at them immediately because they just ran into your car? Or do you get out and you say, are you okay? I'm just checking. Are you okay? let's see, let's call the police, make sure you're okay, get an ambulance, that kind of thing. Because some people are just ready for you to jump out and cuss, or maybe they're going to jump out and cuss at you, and you're like, hey, hold on, are you okay? let's check on your well-being first. Are you okay? That'll throw people off. That's an optimistic attitude. And then, of course, my first S is smile. So the first S, and we talked about that a lot. And sing. What I mean by sing is you want to sing the praises of the people that you encounter. I don't necessarily mean, oh. Although singing could be very motivational, trust me. I have a soundtrack to my own personal life that I know that I have some go-to songs that I listen to, that if I feeling discouraged and need some encouragement, I go to those songs, right? To just lift my spirits. But sing, because when they talk about people don't remember exactly what you say, but they remember how you make them feel, so if you just have that song in your heart when you just speak to people and you see people, like the shining eyes that you said of the 70-year-old, people remember that. Because it's like a spiritual connection. It's not about what you said or even what you did, but it was the mere fact of your presence and your essence and the willingness for you to sing from yourself to them. The next thing is integrity. And why integrity is important is, I'm not going to dwell on this very long. This could be an entire episode of what the meaning of integrity is. But the bottom line is you want to behave as if you're being watched at all times, because you always are. God is always watching you. And that's the ultimate judge of all of us, whether we get away with something this way or the other, whether you're telling a story like lying, or whether you're telling the truth and being generous. Just because the world doesn't reward you, remember, God is watching you. So you must live life in integrity and be a blessing unto other people, even when it doesn't feel good. It might be giving away your last whatever. It might be being prompted by the Lord to give that person that's begging on the side of the road something, because you have so much. Because remember, he will reward you. Whatever you give away, the Lord will refill you. We have to be like a pouring cup, not like a stagnant sitting cup, because stagnation is nasty and it starts to smell. So we got to be flowing, right? We got to let the Lord flow through us. Then the other one is the big B word. Believe in yourself and believe you can do it, because God wouldn't have given it to you if you couldn't. So you must believe it, because until you come into agreement and believe it and agree to walk in the path that he's directed you to, there's nothing he can do. If you don't believe it, if you're not faithful enough to believe it, then there's really nothing that God can do through you, because you've shut yourself off. And then the big L. Love, you guys. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Bring love everywhere you go and be love whenever you can. And love can be such a tiny thing. It could be that smile, right? So I encourage you to just take that smile with you. It costs you nothing, and smile at everybody you see, because that brings love. And make it be a sincere smile, not a People can tell. They can tell if it's a true smile. They can tell if it's a true laugh. So be love. And then the last one is, if you do every single one of these things in the possible that I just shared with you, then you will empower those around you. You will empower them. You will inspire them, and you will be a light unto them. And we are called to be a light in the darkness. So please embrace that. Go through this acrostic each day, and you will be a blessing to everyone around you. And the things you want to accomplish, we will accomplish, because it is possible. You are possible.
Amen.
Thank you, Tamia. Thank you, Tamia. That was powerful. Basically, you have to believe, you have to love, because when you show love, you basically you get what you give. If you are a nasty person, you get that with God, because he has his own principles. I always say, if God has his commandment, so I should have my principles in place, who is in my tribe. So I choose people that are in my tribe that respect me, that I respect them, people that help me to grow. I help them to grow as well, because that's what life is about. We are not here to actually attack. You know, I always say to myself, I don't want the God to shut the door on me when I die and say, no, sir, you did not fulfill my promises. I always say, I'm gonna do my best while I'm on earth. If I do not fulfill your promises, God, you've got to forgive me. But I have to do my best. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my best. So I don't want to do the things that that pleases me, like being selfish and doing these things. I just want to believe. I just want to love. I just want to grow. I just want to lead. I just want to serve. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. What does it take to do the impossible, Judy? We are running out of time now. What does it take to you, for you? What's your opinion on this one?
What it took for me today was to listen to Coach Tamia. Getting outside of that comfort zone, getting outside of what you believe, and maybe open up to what someone else believes around the world. And wow, I'm just blown away. And for me today, it's solstice. It's being in the light. You know, we're at a turning point, and so for me, possible, impossible. Put on the headlights. Turn on your headlights. Turn them up, and go out into the world and light up the world that we have around us. And I know that you're a mom, and light up the mom. And I want to send the light to all the mothers in the world who will have the teenagers. So my heart goes out to you. I worked with those teenagers so many years, and put the light in the moms, the light in the teenagers, the lights in all the grandmas out there, and the lights in to light up the world. And then it's all possible. And it's baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Yesterday, I had a grandma. A friend of mine lost her mom 2 weeks ago. And in the same week, she became a grandma. This beautiful little baby boy. And I looked and I'm like, look at this life we have. We've got the last breath, we've got the first breath. And God was in every single thing that happened in our lives. So I thank you so much for what you're doing, and for your believing, and for where you are on this timeline of our earth life. And with God and you, both of you, all of you, the world is uplifting as we speak. And I feel very blessed today. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For those who are watching, we have a Christmas talk on Thursday. Please join us. There will be amazing speakers, and we're gonna be here for I don't know how long, but only God is grace. Maybe 3 hours or 4 hours on Facebook Live. So we have amazing speakers, and they're gonna be speaking about amazing things, hope, basically what 2020, some people say 2020 has brought us pain, but we see it as it brought us hope, because it brought us closer to our families. We're always working, we always doing things and busy, but it was time for us to stop and spend time with each other. Although we have lost, some families have lost their loved ones, but it brought us hope for us to understand what is the meaning of life, our existence. Our existence is meant to for us to work hard and to love as well, but we focus on the work. So we were forced to stop basically 2020 and love each other And that's what we've been doing for the whole year. So that's what we're going to be doing on Thursday, 1 p.m. Please join us. There's going to be so many amazing speakers. And we are looking forward to it. It's our Christmas talk. We are looking forward to it. Please join us. If you want to get in touch with the speakers, you can get in touch through Ngosi Talk Show, or you can get in touch with them through their website. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Wednesday, and Christmas Eve. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, everyone. Any words of encouragement, Tamia, before we leave?
Be the light. Be the light. Everywhere you go, be the light. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Christmas Eve on this amazing talk.
Judy, any words of encouragement, Judy?
Believe. Believe in the light. Yes.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Live with grace. See you tomorrow.
God bless you. Bye.